Cool. That's amazing. Let's see. Okay. Welcome to Green Tara's land of turquoise leaves. I appreciate all of you coming out tonight. I thought it would be a nice way to begin by chanting together. So you should all have a chant sheet there. If not, maybe your neighbor can share with you. This is a simple melody that we'll do to the first one at the top of your sheet, to Tara. The mantra goes Om Namo Arya Tara. You might want to repeat after me. Om Namo Arya Tara.
Arya Tara.
Yeah, and if you need one, please raise your hand, Isabel. So this mantra is very beautiful. One of my mentors and friends taught it to me, Robert Svoboda. It is a simple Tara mantra that simply says Om, the universal sound of consciousness. Namo is I honor, like I name. Namo, same Indo-European root. And Arya means noble. Tara is her name, which means savioress. But also it can mean star. So I thought it was fun that I found these green stars. We're in the land, Green Tara's land of turquoise leaves tonight. Do you feel it? Have you entered? If you are entering, perhaps this singing will help. So this one is it's a little jazzy in the sense where there's a breath that is an important part of the rhythm. So it sounds like this. Just listen. Om Namo Arya Tara. 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 Good, keep going. Arya Tara. Om Namo 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 Arya Om Namo Arya Tara. 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 Om Namo Arya Om Namo Arya Tara. 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 take a step further into our evening together by arousing our heartfelt motivation for gathering together to be of benefit in some way. May we awaken, may we get inspired, may we heal for the benefit of ourselves and for the benefit of others. This heartfelt motivation of bodhicitta, spirit of awakening. Take a moment to say your personal prayer. And if you have a heart connection to Tara, or you want a heart connection to Tara, then open that doorway within your heart now. Make a personal prayer. Thank you. Let's slowly open our eyes, and I'm asking Ramana to bring the lights up just a little. Just enough. But not too much. Yeah, enough. Yeah, a little more, a little more, a little more, a little more. And then the other one too, which will light up behind me. Yeah, yeah. I want to be able to see you. I want you to be able to see me. Is that enough, or you want a little more? Enough? Nice, huh? Because we can still see the galaxy. Okay, maybe I'll turn this off right now. Okay, how's the sound? You can still hear me, right? This is the head mic. Okay, great. So I really wanted this to be an immersive experience, celebrating the launch of my book, but celebrating community and all of us together. Is the volume all right? Yeah? Mom? Got your elephant ears on? We have a joke. We have a joke about that. We have a joke about a lot of things, my mom and I. Thanks for coming, Mom. My mom, Janine, she taught me the Tara mantra when I was a little girl. So it was the first mantra I ever learned. So I'm in the lineage of the Great Mother. So I'm ever grateful. Don't cry. Okay, that's what you came for, right? Keep it real. All right, so yeah, I mean, so I could say, in large part, I wrote this book because of my mom and my stepdad, Eric, who's my Dharma dad. I call him my Dharma dad. And they really fostered the Dharma in me. So give thanks, right? Give thanks to our ancestors on many levels. I also want to acknowledge our ancestors, each and every one of you. We're here for a reason, right? We're drawn here for some karmic reason, whether it's, a spiritual ancestry, past lifetimes, or who knows what, or familial ancestry. And we're all here in this moment due to all of those causes and conditions that gave birth to us, fed us, nurtured us, and inspired this kind of spark in our hearts for the path, no matter what path it is. You don't have to be Buddhist to appreciate like-minded folks who are pulled in a deeper direction than just, going to the mall for Christmas, which is fun. I guess that can be fun too. I'm talking about, commercial capitalism. So, and also acknowledging the land that we're on, Liz Chanaloni land, acknowledging that the ancestors, the folks who were here before us, before the colonial people came, something happened here, something continues to happen here because of that. And it's important for us not to forget. And that is a big part of this bodhisattva aspiration, to really embrace the tragedy and the beauty of life, and to acknowledge the truth of what happened, what is happening, and to not shy away from it. And that's really the bodhisattva vow. It's like, and I think of this time of Christmas, It's celebrated, more within the Christian tradition. It's about service, right? It's about being merry, bringing joy to each other, returning to our roots and our family, and also giving refuge and meals and a warm hearth to friends or even people we may not know, but making new friends, right? So it's that spirit that is also, in my view, living within this bodhisattva vow of being of service. And a lot of times Buddhists get a bad rap because we're not so service oriented, but actually we are, or at least in more Asian, Southeast Asian cultures where Buddhism is really the main religion. Service is a very important role. There's something about modern Western Buddhism, maybe in some domains are less oriented towards service, and I think that that's a shame. I think we should do that more and find ways to do that. And I know a lot of you probably do in various ways. So it's an honor to have you here and to come and celebrate this book baby that I just birthed. Embodying Tara. So I wanted to give you a feeling of embodiment, right? The book is called Embodying Tara. So what does that mean? What is it like to embody a Buddha, let alone a female Buddha, no matter what your gender identity is? It's about, they say in Buddhism, having pure view or divine view. It's kind of like the ultimate self-esteem, right? It's like we have divinity within each and every one of us, even though we might feel imperfect and not good enough. The core of our being is good enough. It is perfect. There's nothing to fix, nothing to achieve. You don't have to earn someone's love. But this Buddha nature is within each and every one of us. That spark of divinity is within each and every one of us. And so embodying Tara is one path, one way to do that. And one of my teachers, Lama Tsoltra Malioni, one day we were talking about writing a book, and I was saying how I felt like I had a book in me, but I was a bit overwhelmed with ideas and options, but also like feeling not good enough, like who am I to write a book? And she looked at me with a sparkle in her eye. I tell about this in the preface, by the way. But she looked at me with this sparkle in her eye and she said, why don't you bring the 21 Taras to life? Bring them alive. We have them in our Tara temple at Tara Mandala in Colorado. Beautiful half-life size statues in this almost like octagonal shaped temple that she dreamed and then built. And yet they can still feel arcane or distant. So how about that? And I thought, of course, it just made so much sense to me because I grew up as Tara as my first understanding of something greater than me, a being I could call to, a Buddha or a guardian angel I could call to for help. And that's something my Mama Lama taught me. So it was about a 5-year process, about 3 years of in-depth research. And please let me know if the sound is funny or if anything's wrong. Okay, don't suffer through it. It's okay? It's great. Okay, good. And about 2 years of dedicated writing where I had to tell the world, leave me alone. I can't return your emails. I had to pull back from work, dip into my savings, I drop out of grad school. I had health challenges come up. It was kind of like the hero's journey. I thought I limped across the finish line with this one, but I'm glad I made it. And it was so on the other end or the other side of it, it was a real joy. And I discovered that I love the life of a writer. I want to write another book and another. I love being my own boss. Make my own hours, pausing whenever I need to make some tea, put on some good classical music, take a walk, talk to friends, research, digest it, let it come alive in me. It's really an honor. I'm humbled by it. And I look at this book, I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I wrote this book. Okay, so there's a preface, and then there's about 30 pages of introduction where I talk about who is Tara, who are the 21 Taras, because a lot of people may not know there are actually 21 Taras that are found in the famous Tantra from mid-11th century, medieval India, Tantric India, called the 21 Praises to Tara. And it's not a really long Tantra. Tantra means text. Tantra, it's like 27 shlokas. The first few kind of open the scene, and then 21 of them sing the goddess's praise in her 21 different manifestations. And then there are a couple of shlokas to end, right? So 21 taras are the main bulk of the text. And originally, it wasn't a text that was trying to distinguish or establish 21 different goddesses. It was just 21 different poetic verses of celebrating the different ways the goddess manifests, or female Buddhas can manifest in this world. But over time, with the iconographic traditions of Surya Gupta, Atisha, Nagarjuna, and then the later Longchen Nyingtig tradition by the Terten Jigme Lingpa, upon which these taras are based on. So there are many different lineages. They began to paint them, right? Make statues out of them and represent them based on these 21 different praises. And so we think, oh, there are 21 different taras, but actually there aren't. It's there. They say that there are as many taras as stars in the sky. That's why I also like the green stars, because Tara literally means star. You can remember that by thinking Stara. I've been thinking Stara. My first child is named Tara. I always knew if I had a girl, I'd name them Tara. They them now, but they were a girl when they were born. Tara called me up about a year ago saying, I was researching my name and I was really happy to find that it can be both a man and a woman's name in India. I was like, yes, I don't want you to change your name. And I'm like, yeah, Chandra could be too, actually. In India, Chandra, my name, is often a man's name. So we had a giggle over that. In any case, there's many taras as there are stars in the sky, they say. So even 21 is an illusion. And so I wanted to read a little bit from the introduction about Tara and who she is, and then talk a little bit more, and then guide you in a meditation. It's about a page and a half. This is from the introduction, page 3. Who is Tara? Let me first introduce you to the unique historical and spiritual figure of Tara. By knowing the one Tara, her origins and history, her iconography and symbolism, we can begin to know the many Taras we will meet in this book. On a deeper level, understanding the ultimate meaning of Tara, which is synonymous with the enlightened nature of our own mind, we are able to grasp her myriad manifestations, to recognize her all around us, in others, in nature, and in ourselves. Like us, Tara is many things all at once. Tara is commonly known as Arya Tara, or Noble Tara, in Sanskrit, and Jetsundrolma in Tibetan. Tara means she who helps to cross to the other shore, or she who saves, signifying her power to help beings traverse the ocean of suffering, samsara, to the far shore of liberation, nirvana. She is primarily known for saving beings from fear and misfortune. She is the savioress who leads us to our destination, like the North Star guiding us home. In fact, Tara's name also means star, and she is often depicted as ferrying beings across the night sky in her boat, signaling the metaphor of stars guiding beings across the ocean of samsara. In this way, we can understand Tara to be the light of our internal North Star that helps us navigate home to our true nature. We can understand Tara in the following ways. Tara is a legendary princess who became a bodhisattva, one who commits to liberation for the benefit of all beings. Tara is a fully awakened Buddha, the Blessed One, Noble Tara, or Bhagavati Arya Tara. Tara is the wisdom Dakini, or Kandroma in Tibetan, meaning sky goer, the ultimate nature of mind as expressed by the fierce power of the divine feminine. Tara is the mother of the Buddhas, called the Great Mother in Tibetan, or Yum Chenmo, who is synonymous with Prajnaparamita, the perfection of wisdom. Tara emanates as the 21 manifestations of her limitless enlightened activities. Tara is a tantric deity who bestows blessings and invites us to unify our consciousness with her and recognize that she is us and we are her. Tara is you at your most essential inner core, beyond individual identity of your sex, gender, name, and form. She is your own pristine awareness, the innermost nature of mind. Okay, last little bit here. Welcome. Yes. Yet, all these identities are not the actual Tara, because the actual Tara is beyond label or concept. You may well ask, if she is beyond label or concept, then why should we try to define her? We do so, as with everything in this world, by naming something, we help to bring it into being, to bring it into the foreground of our experience. We give her names and epithets to honor and understand her, write poetry to her, meditate on her, chant mantras to her, and embody her. And in so doing, we find meaning in our own lives and traverse the ocean of our own suffering. So now you know who Tara is. But you still have to get the book. Because who are the 21 Taras? Yeah. Any questions or comments about that? Just thought it doesn't have to be me talking the whole time. Yes. And say your name before you ask. David, yes.
David sounds so similar to the Divine Mother of the Hindu.
Yes.
Come out of that, or?
Similar era, yeah. And what's interesting, so his question was, it sounds a lot like the Hindu Divine Mother. Yeah, and actually in Hinduism and Hindu Tantra, they have Tara, Ugra Tara, Chittamani Tara. There's all sorts of crossovers in the Hindu and Buddhist traditions, especially when you get into the world of Tantra, which began around the 5th, 6th, 7th century CE in India. It's like Tantra, they say, was its own movement that like burst out of the earth of India and then infiltrated Buddhism and the Vedic tradition that later became Hinduism. We call Hinduism, but that's an English imposition name, actually. So, yes, so what's interesting and what was really beautiful about writing this book is that many of the Taras have correlations with Hindu goddesses. Like, for example, the second Tara in this book is Saraswati. Her name is Tara Vajra Saraswati. Vajra, or Dorje in Tibetan, means lightning bolt or adamantine or diamond. It's a symbol of the indestructible nature of mind. But Vajra is considered to be the most powerful weapon in the Vedas, right? So way back, Vajra is also a Vedic term. So there's so much crossover, and I think it's an illusion for us Westerners because we got a little bit Hinduism or yoga over here, and a little Buddhism over here, Theravada, Mahayana, Zen, Vajrayana. We think everything was so separate, but when you start learning about it in more depth, you realize, wow, there was a lot of sharing and not so many boxes, not so many walls between these traditions. Like some of the great Mahasiddhas are also, like in the Hindu tradition, Goraknath is a Buddhist Mahasiddha, right? So he is said to be the originator of Hatha Yoga. But then other Taras are also Hindu deities, like Bhairavi, Shiva's fierce consort. So Mahabhairavi is Tibetan, is one of the Taras. They call her Bhairava with a long A, but kind of the same thing. Yeah. Marichi, the 21st Tara, we'll chant her at the end of the night, her mantra. She's also a Hindu goddess associated with wealth, but in the Buddhist tantric tradition, she's associated more with longevity, auspiciousness, good health, long life. So what I say in this book is, it's like what I realized through writing this book is like these 21 Tara, the 21 Tara pantheon is like a cosmic net that captured the big fish of the goddesses in India, like the best ones, not the best ones, but not the I didn't mean to say it like that, but some of the great ones, the most well-known ones. No, I didn't mean to say it like that. So it is a good question, David. Yeah. There's a lot of overlap. So when you get in the land of Tantra, you really get to enjoy. When I went to Nepal, how many people have been to Nepal? So when you go to Nepal, they embody that beautiful blend of the Hindu and Buddhist, the Vajrayana, and the Hindu tantric traditions. Like they have the dancing Ganesh, the red Ganesh, who's Buddhist. He's a Buddhist tantric deity, which I love because I love Ganesh, But yes.
What does it really mean to, and I'm Bogdana. Hi,
Bogdana, yes. Thank you.
What does it really mean to embody?
Embody.
Because I really wonder,
Your name sounds like embody, Bogdana. Bogdana.
Yeah. Because a lot of it is like thinking still, and like maybe
Yeah.
I have like a challenge with like what is the mind and what is the body, and like if I'm thinking, like what does it feel?
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, you'll get to experience that when we do the embodiment meditation. At the end of every one of the Tara chapters, I have an embodiment. I call them embodiment meditations, but they are based on classic sadhanas from, like they call it deity yoga, where you kind of honor, you invoke a deity as a being, a power outside of you, and you receive their blessings. You ask for, moral support, blessings. And then they bless you. Often they'll dissolve into you. And then you become the deity. So you go from duality, which is like bhakti, right? Like, you get the love story, you get to be devotional and see them out there and you over here. And because when you have duality, you have the love story. You have that kind of, not the polar opposites, because it's not always about opposites, but you have that story. But then step 2 of deity yoga in Vajrayana Buddhism, Tantric Buddhism, is to go from duality to singularity or to unity, right? Non-duality. So that deity that was out there like dissolves into light, dissolves into you, and then your normal form transforms and you imagine, you feel that you are the deity. So how do you do that? Well, that's a big question, but you can do it by, I'll guide you through it, but you do it through visualizing sound, you sounding the mantra, visualizing light, understanding the symbolic nature of like your position, your mudras, what you're wearing, what color you are, what mood you're in. Are you fierce? Are you a fierce Tara? Are you a peaceful Tara? They have different moods, right? Or they have the union of the peaceful and fierce, which is called semi-fierce, or sometimes called joyful. So it's like that, electrifying. Again, the opposites unifying and into joy, bliss. So yeah, sound, light, visualization, but then also breathing and getting out of like the visualizing, like this kind of visualizing, but more of a feeling of what would it feel like to be a body of light. You can connect more with your pranic body. Yeah, that gives you a hint. Yeah. Okay. Yes, Donald.
Yeah.
I know your name.
Relationship of Tara to Avalokitesvara.
Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah, there's a few different stories, origin myths of Tara.
Yeah.
And I talk about them in the book, but briefly, his question was, what is the relationship between Tara and Avalokiteshvara, right? So both of them are said to be Buddhas or Bodhisattvas of compassion. Of Avalokiteshvara, or Chenrezig in Tibetan, is more the masculine, the male deity or Buddha of compassion. Tara is the female Buddha of compassion. So one of her origin stories says that she was born from a tear of Avalokiteshvara as he wept while observing the suffering of all beings in all the 6 realms. So he's witnessing that. Some of his iconography show him having 1,000 arms, eyes in every palm, and multiple heads. I think 13, right? 13, Eric? 13 heads, yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong. In any case, that means basically he's everywhere. He's looking at everything. He can see into all the different dimensions. And because of that, Ningje, compassion arouses in his heart. The Tibetans say, oh, Ningje, when they feel compassion for someone or something. Oh, Ningje, that feeling of, oh God, like you want to cry. And so he cried. And it said she was born from his tear. Or sometimes they say she was born from his heart. Some legends say that white Tara and green Tara were born from his heart at that moment. But there's another origin story about her as Princess Wisdom Moon that does not involve Avalokiteshvara at all. In a way, it's a bit more like empowering for her as an individual, rather than being like an offshoot of a dude. I think the women be like that, right? That's why I kind of focus more on that story of her as Princess Wisdom Moon in the book, where she was a princess in a very distant past eon, not this system, different world system. Because Buddhists believe in the kind of like the Big Bang, and then there's this expansion, and then the contraction. It all burns up in a cosmic fire, and then another Big Bang. So this happened infinite times. And within world systems, you're really lucky if you have a Buddha, somebody wake up into Buddhahood. So we're lucky. We had Buddha Shakyamuni wake up 2,600 years ago. Not everybody's so lucky. And his teachings are still going on. That's Buddhists say. This is very fortunate. So this princess lived in a past eon, and she developed a heart of, there was a Buddha in that eon, which I really wish I could have met this Buddha. His name was the drum sound Buddha. So Ramana, you're him basically, boom, boom, like he was banging the drum. Like that sounds like a fun Buddha. Yeah. And so she was devoted to him. She aroused this heartfelt wish to become enlightened for the benefit of beings. That's a bodhi. She wanted to take her bodhisattva vow to awaken for the benefit of all. But the small-minded abbot and the monks in this monastery that were around this Buddha told her, oh, very good, but first pray to be reborn as a man so you can benefit more beings in a man's body. See, a lot of these old teachings say women had to be reborn as a man to become a fully awakened Buddha. It's this total, like misogyny's everywhere, people. That's why we need this, books like this. It's just, all the good men that I know, none of them would perpetuate that kind of bullshit. It's just crazy. Like, why? But when my research says, what I found is Buddha didn't say that. Buddha didn't say women had to be reborn as a man. It's the editors of the sutras, the texts that were recopied in the monasteries over the centuries. There's power grabs and hegemony and, like a lot of sacred texts, they kind of drift. So she when she heard these abbots say that, she said, oh, hell no. That's exactly what she said. No, she said, no, there is no man, no woman, no self, no other, no I, no other. Such dualistic thinking is for evil-minded or small-minded beings. Because not many vow to awaken in a woman's body, I vow to come back again and again and awaken as in a woman's body so I can benefit beings in a woman's body. So in a way, I see the star, the infinite of stars, her 21 forms, us embodying her, is a way of her to do that. It's like that fulfillment of that vow. Like, is you, Bogdana or Kate, or Christine or Donald, embody Tara, you are fulfilling her vow. You are helping her fulfill her vow to incarnate in the female form, because even temporarily we imagine we're Tara. with the silks and the crown, She's a Sambhogakaya being with all these beautiful ornamentations. They all have symbolic representation. Being of light. Yeah, okay. Okay, so maybe, do you want to embody? The other thing I wanted to say is that the way that I decided to help bring the Taras alive, like Lama Tsultrim masked, bring them alive, was to find real life women or women identified, or even broader movements that embody the qualities of each of these taras, because each of them have their own unique enlightened activities, right? Some protect beings from danger, like green tara does. Some, like the 13th tara, protects beings from the ring of enemies, meaning from war. So at Tara Mandala, we've been reciting the 13th tara mantra for months and months, sadly, ever since the invasion of Ukraine. And now we're also chanting for the Israeli-Hamas conflict, war. We're trying to bring peace through prayer. It's not the only thing we should do, of course, right? But we're chanting the 13th Tara's mantra as a way to bring about these powerful, different, dynamic, enlightened activities. So in every chapter, I have an example of a real-life woman or a women identified or a broader movement that embodies the enlightened activity of that particular Tara. So I think that really does a good job at bringing them alive for us. Okay, I can see that. And sometimes the links were challenging, but then I found just such amazing serendipity with realizing, oh, wow, Malala, embodies, I think it's the 16th or 17th, Tara's enlightened activity to overcome the misuse of speech and mantra in particular, but also we can understand the misuse of words and speech through fake news, or ideologies. So her counteracting the Taliban's brainwashing, the ideology of strict Sharia law, counteracting that. Okay, Malala embodies that 16th or 17th Tara's enlightened activity by counteracting the misuse of ideological power, ideologies that come from words, right? And are misused by politicians and people, spiritual leaders. So you can see that's just one little taste of whoa, how did that happen? Because that was a hard one. How do I find a real life woman who embodies the enlightened activity of the Tara, who counteracts the misuse of mantric power? What? Nobody's gonna get that. So you'll have to read that chapter. Let me see. It's I think it's chapter. Yeah, 16th Tara. Tara who destroys the power of evil spells is how I translated her name. So read that one. You'll see what I'm talking about. Okay, so let's drop in and do a little meditation. So get comfortable. We'll sit for about 10, 12 minutes or so, and then we'll chant a bit. At the end of the meditation, I'll ask Ramana and Kevin to come back up, and we'll do the 21st Tara mantra. Okay, let's close our eyes. And we'll take some deep breaths, releasing tension with the out breath. Again, moving out of more of the cerebral movement of energy, the mental domain, and drop as much as you can with each out breath into the body. Releasing tension with the out breath. We'll do what are called the 9 relaxation breaths. With the first few breaths here, breathing into any physical tension you might be holding in your body. And then with the out breath, let that tension melt, release, or even be hooked by the out breath, leaving the body, releasing tension. And then with your next few breaths, breathe into any emotional tension. Feel where you might be holding emotional tension in your body. Breathe into it, and then release it with the out breath. much as possible. With your next few breaths, breathe into any mental tension, any thoughts, worries, concerns. Feel where you may be holding mental tension in your body. Breathe into it and release with the out breath. And then release any control of the breath. Feel the breath soft in the belly. And I'll guide you through an essence, an essentialized version of the sadhana or practice that you'll find in that book. So first now imagine that in the sky in front of you and slightly above you, Tara appears. And I'll invite you to imagine her as red in color, red Tara. And it's okay if you don't really know what she looks like. Feel her intuitively. It can even be like the warmth of the sun. You feel her love, her presence, rather than see necessarily. But you can feel her swaying in the wind in a sense with her body of light, red color. She's seated on a moon disk that's on a lotus flower. And she's about life size or so. And she's a body of light, not of flesh and bone. She has 2 arms and 2 legs and 1 face. Her face is, this particular Tara is that blending of fierce and peaceful called semi-fierce or joyful Tara. Red in color. They say that she smiles and she bares her fangs, these dakini fangs, those canines. But it's not malevolent, it's a joyful power. And her eyes are flashing like lightning. This is the first Tara, the Bodhicitta Tara. Tara Turavira, the swift heroine. So she's dynamic, electrified, moving like the wind. You can see that her left hand is at her heart in a mudra where she holds the thumb and the ring finger gently touching. And in between those 2 fingers is a stem of the lotus flower that's blooming above her left shoulder. And atop that left shoulder, atop the lotus, is the conch shell, the white spiraling conch shell emitting the self-blowing sound of the conch, symbolizing the healing sound of the dharma. You can almost hear it like the ocean, the ooh of the conch, soothing beings in anxiety and strife. And then her right hand is placed on her right knee, palm up, a simple open gesture that signifies this infinite generosity of protection and love that she offers to all beings. And then see that she's not in full lotus. She's actually has her right leg is stepping forward off of the lotus. This posture is called the horse dismounting posture. And it means her right leg is stepping into samsara so that she is available to beings in need. She's not aloof. And then her left leg is tucked in, the ankle near the perineum, signifying that she rests fully stabilized in nirvana. And utter your own personal prayer of refuge, of devotion to her. Just even suspend your logical mind here. Just feel the warmth of this red Tara, her power. You may have a prayer in your heart that needs to be spoken now. Say that internally. A feeling of going to refuge and awakening your heart of bodhicitta. She hears your prayer and see her face light up with joy, acknowledging your prayer. And then feel that she dissolves into red light, this joyful dissolution, and then she dissolves into you. And your body is filled with that blissful light. And then you become red Tara, and we'll do that through sounding her seed syllable tum. Just once. So as we sound T-A-M, tum, long and slow, you can imagine that from the inside out, your physical body of flesh and bone transforms into vibrant body of red light. You become red Tara. Inhale with me, and we'll say it together, long and slow. You can either take the posture of Tara or imagine it. The left hand is at the heart with the thumb and the ring finger gently touching, holding the stem of the lotus. Feel the self-blowing sound of the conch at your left ear. It's blowing. The healing sound of the Dharma. Then your right hand is palm up on your right knee. And the gesture of supreme generosity. Your right leg can either literally be or just imagine that it's stepping a bit forward, signifying your willingness, your capacity to step into samsara to be of benefit to beings. The right leg. And then the left leg is a bit more tucked in near the perineum with the heel, signifying your full abiding in the peace of nirvana, your central channel. What does that feel like to hold those opposites, or maybe not so opposites within you? And you're seated on a moon disk and a lotus, and you're a body of light. Feel the pulsing of the light through your body. It's commonly said to imagine yourself hollow like a balloon, filled with red light. And your eyes are flashing. If you wish, you can even open your eyes and look upward into the heavens, this flashing, open, circular eyes. You can even bar your fangs, a little bare your fangs, your canines, this wild wisdom. And breathe. You may even feel you have more than two eyes. You have a third eye at the brow, sees into the wisdom, the expanse of reality. And as Tara, whether you're actually in that position or feeling it, we'll chant her mantra. It's a simple mantra, well, relatively simple. It's her root mantra of Om Tare Tu Tare Ture Svaha. But before the Svaha, we put the word bodhicitta, that spirit of awakening, that heart of awakening. It's not on your sheet, so you'll have to bear with me. We'll chant it very slowly. So first again, I'll say Om Tare Tu Tare. You can say it. Om Tare Tu Tare Ture Bodhicitta Svaha. Good. So essentially meaning, oh Tara, come swiftly, O Tara, Bodhicitta, so be it. So let's chant for a bit together. And this is more monotone. This is more meditative mantra. We'll do it slow. Om Tare Tu Tare Ture Bodhicitta Svaha. 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 Now we recite quieter under your breath. They say just loud enough so that your collarbone can hear you. Om Tare Tu Tare Ture Bodhicitta Svaha. So now it's your own personal rhythm with the mantra. And imagine that from your heart emanates rainbow light to all beings, bringing freedom from fear, suffering, increasing bodhicitta in all beings, and removing obstacles to awakening. Om Tare Tu Tare Ture Bodhicitta Svaha. Om Tare Tu Tare Ture Bodhicitta Svaha. Om Tare Tu Tare Ture. Let the light, the rainbow light, be like a blanket of light filling all of space, blanketing the world, going to specific beings and places in need, and really see beings be free of their suffering. Om Tare Tu Tare Ture Bodhicitta Svaha. 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 Om Tare Tu Tare. Let the mantra and the light visualization bring you back like a mindfulness practice. If you wander, come back to the feeling of being red Tara, rainbow light emanating from your heart chakra to all beings. The mantra is like an engine, like an energy generator that cultivates that rainbow burst of light from your heart. And let it fill all of space. The sky is the limit. Go to your friends and foes, beings you know, you don't know, near and far. Om Tare Tu Tare Ture Bodhicitta Svaha. 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 And continue to chant and really feel if there's any remnant of resistance or angst. See if you can offer that to her red fire, the fire of her energy. What's holding you back? Let it go here in this last moment. Really let yourself take your seat as Buddha Tara. This divine self-esteem, the ultimate self-esteem. Just sit in your power for a moment. Bodhicitta power. Love. Infinite capacities within you. Om Tari. Good. And then now we move to the next phase of the practice, which is now we let the mantra come to a stillness. And then we imagine that the world, the universe, and all the inhabitants dissolve into radiant light, like a burst of blissful light. All appearances dissolve into light, and then that light dissolves into you as Tara. Can dissolve directly into your heart chakra. And feel that burst of bliss, light, entering your body. And then you as Tara also dissolve from the crown of your head and the soles of your feet. You begin to slowly dissolve into light, dissolving into the heart chakra, where you can imagine an orb of light. Red light is there. And then that orb of light also dissolves and rests in the experience that remains after completely dissolving now. No form. Rest in that spacious awareness for a few moments. If you're familiar with the nature of mind, feel free to do that. You can rest with the eyes upward or closed. And then if the eyes were open, gently close them and come back to your form. Gently kind of let yourself reemerge. Often it's said to reemerge as Tara once again, feeling what it's like to have that integrated energy of the deity within you. And then also move about the rest of your day, your evening, as if you were Tara. Seeing the eyes through Tara's eyes, through Buddha eyes. And then we'll close the practice, dedicating the merit. I'll read the dedication prayer from the book, just as a way to close this. Through this merit, may I quickly attain the state of noble Tara. May I bring each and every being, without exception, to that state. May all beings be healthy, free from suffering and its causes, and may they awaken to their true nature. Yeah. That was a taste of embodying Tara personally in your practice. The sadhana that's in the book, the versions of them in the book are, a bit more in depth. But for the sake of time, I wanted to give you a little taster. How did that feel? Did you have a sense? Yeah. Did you feel a little embodiment? Yeah. Sometimes it takes time, you know. Sometimes we hold ourselves back, right? We're like, yeah, no. You know, I couldn't be a Buddha. You know what I mean? So check that voice. You know, it's like a mindfulness practice. Like who's saying that? You know? Who's the sayer? Who's the one? They don't exist. So then dissolve into the potential of being able to let yourself feel what it would be like even for a moment. It takes some time. There are days when I'm like, yeah, I'm faking it till I'm making it. It's okay. That's what they say. The Tibetan lamas will say, fake it till you make it. You know, it's like we're forging the neuronal pathways for that to be possible. Okay. Maybe while we're setting up again for chanting, anybody want to ask a question or make an observation? Yes, say your name.
Elaine?
Elaine. Hi, Elaine. Yeah, welcome.
What other books are you thinking about?
I don't want to jinx it. Oh, gosh. I've been teaching a class here called Releasing into Presence, and I have this fantasy of doing more practice. You know, this is practice. This is very much applicable. The Tara book is, but it's scholarly. You know, I pulled on my Tibetan language skills and translation skills. It was a bit more academic. I think the next thing I would write would be more in the vein of poetic practice, you know, more meditative methods that I've been doing for, you know, the length of my practice life, and, you know, through releasing into presence, maybe that theme. But that'll take time. It's just exciting to start to craft that. And a lot of the folks here tonight come to those Tuesday night classes. Yeah. Yes, one more.
I heard once that.
Say your name too, please.
I'm Susie.
That's right. Hi,
and
Susie.
I don't remember where I learned this, but the fourth night after the new moon is the Tara moon. Did you schedule this on purpose?
Oh my God! Is that
exact
yeah?
night? It's the Tara
Is it the lunar calendar? Is it day 8 of lunar calendar today? It's the 4th out of well, I did not.
Okay.
I'm just going to say that was serendipitous. That's amazing. Yeah, what I've learned is that the 8th, sometimes the not 7th, it depends on the tradition, lunar day is a Tara day. Also Medicine Buddha day. Does anybody know if that's where we're at too? Is that what she's talking about?
It's the fourth.
The
I
4th.
have heard that it was the fourth, but you're.
Cool. Hey, I'll take it. No, I like your version. That's great. I do have an app on my phone, but I'm not going to look at my phone right now to check that. That was a happy mistake. Thanks for asking that. Yeah. Yeah, they say that the day of the month is a particularly powerful day to practice the Tara practice. Yeah, the 8th, usually the 8th lunar day. I talk about that in the book too. Jennifer, do you see? Oh, I thought you were raising your hand.
I was, and I was looking at the app.
Yeah, I wondered if you had the answer of what day it is, what lunar day it is. No?
It's the fourth.
It's the 4th lunar day. Interesting. I hadn't heard that before, but I like it. Yeah. Yeah.
I did, have a question. I was curious how you took, the formal sadhana elements.
Yeah. Yeah.
And actually, often one needs an empowerment to practice,
Yeah.
etc. I
Yeah,
was wondering
good.
what your process was like
Okay.
to
Yeah.
take it into this kind of general, accessible.
Yeah. Yeah. Her first question was, how did I adapt really this more kind of accessible sadhana, this way of practice from the more traditional ways, and what was my process of doing that? It's a good question. So I like simplicity, and often the Tibetan Vajrayana practices are very ornate and beautifully poetic, but sometimes very long. So I remember in some really particular one day I was practicing the Tara, and I said, I just need a direct access to you, just. And she gave it to me. She said, I'm not saying this is a terma. I'm not claiming anything like that, but I got something. It was like inspiration. So I wrote it down and I took it to Lama, and she said, this is very good, but you should add a few things, So she added a couple things for me. So we collaborated. She said, you need the tam, the seed syllable. And I said, okay. And you'll see how that's used in there. It's classic. But then she's like, you need to go to Khenpo Tse Wangdung Gyal, like the OG in this tradition, because this is heresy, girl, Don't get too big for your britches, So check it with him, Khenpo Tse Wangdung Gyal, who wrote Tara's Enlightened Activity with his brother who's deceased, Kenshin Palden Sherop. These guys, they're called the Khenpo brothers. How many people have studied with the Khenpo brothers? Yeah, they are really hold the definitive tradition of the 21 taras within the Nyingma Dzogchen tradition. So I didn't call him, I emailed his assistant and I set up a meeting and actually flew out to New York and met with him, and he gave the long of the 21 taras and the Tara's Enlightened Activity, the commentary, and I showed him a draft of the sadhana that I had written with Lama's Tsultrim's input. And he said, oh, very good, very good, very good. Yes, yes. I said, okay, is it okay that I'm putting this in a book? Oh, yes, definitely put it in the book. People need this. It's great. So he was very supportive. And I said, well, what about mantra? Is it okay to have her mantras? Because often you'll need an empowerment for mantra recitation. He said, no, with the Tara, it's Tara. You don't need empowerment for Tara. Everyone should practice Tara. So he gave me permission. So I ran with it.
But you do offer the wounds for the mantra.
But then we do, yeah. Then he says, but if people can have the lung, great. And then if you can get the traditional empowerment for the 21 taras of the Nyingma tradition, which is called the Dechen Gyalmo, the Queen of Great Bliss cycle, get it. And it will potentize your practice. But you don't need it. It can be potent. Tara can empower you directly if you open your heart to her. But get it if you can. I'm trying to go in January back to Florida because Khenpo Tse Wangdung Gyal is giving it in January. Yeah, check that out. You can search it. So we're going to do, so now you've got on your chant sheet, we're going to go for just a few more minutes. We're going to do some chanting as the close. Okay, this is the close. And then we'll go out to the lobby for tea and cookies, and I will sign your books. So we'll move into that phase of the night. So you can see on your chant sheet, this is the 21st Tara, Tara Marichi, the longevity Tara. And it's a beautiful mantra. Om Tare Tu Tare Ture. Repeat. Om Tare Tu Tare Ture. Mari Che Che. Mari Che Che. Brum. Nrija. Svaha. So Brum is her seed syllable. It's a common seed syllable for long life deities. It means embryo. It's like this potential for liberation. Nrija means born from, like often implying born from a lotus. Sometimes it can mean human born too. But when you're human born, you're born from a lotus. She's white in color, she's peaceful, so you can feel her around you, within you, in the sky above, or in your heart. It's got two parts. I need to take a sip of water. We'll play it slow for a little bit, and then we're gonna, because I've got drum sound Buddha here to my left, we're gonna speed it up a little bit. And then when David plays with us, he's gonna play violin. You want to? Oh my God, yes. Okay. Om Tare tu re. Mari che bruni just swaha. This is called response. Om Tare tu re. Mari che bruni just swaha. Om Tare tu re. Mari che bruni just swaha. Now your turn. Om Tare tu re. Mari che bruni just swaha. Om Tare tu re. Mari che bruni just swaha.
Om Hare Hare Hare. Mari che bruni just swaha.
Om Tare tu re. Mari che bruni just swaha.
Om
Tare tu re. Mari che bruni just swaha. Next part. Om Tare tu re. Mari che bruni just swaha. Tare tu re. Mari che bruni just swaha. Om Tare tu re. Mari che bruni just swaha. Om Tare tu re. Mari che bruni just swaha. Om Tare tu re. Mari che bruni just swaha. Om Tare tu re. Mari che bruni just swaha. Om Tare tu re. Mari che bruni just swaha. Om Tare tu re. Mari che bruni just swaha. Om Tare tu re. Mari che bruni just swaha. Om Tare tu re. Mari che bruni just swaha. Om Tare tu re. Mari che bruni just swaha. Om Tare tu re. Mari che bruni just swaha. Om Tare tu re. Mari che bruni just swaha. Om Tare tu re. Mari che bruni just swaha. Om Tare tu tare ture. Mariche che brahmi cha swaha. Tare ture. Mariche che brahmi cha swaha. Om 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 tare ture. Drum sound. Mariche che brahmi cha swaha. Om tare ture. Mariche che brahmi cha swaha. Om tare ture. Mariche che brahmi cha swaha. Om tare ture. Om tare ture. Mariche che brahmi cha swaha. Om tare ture. Mariche che brahmi cha swaha. Om Om tare ture. Mariche che brahmi cha swaha. Om tare ture. Mariche che brahmi cha swaha. Om tare ture. Om tare ture. Mariche che brahmi cha swaha. Om tare ture. Mariche che brahmi cha swaha. Om tare ture. Mariche che brahmi cha swaha. One more time together. Om tare ture. Mariche che brahmi cha swaha. Well, thank you, everyone. I also want to thank Ramana Erickson, Drum Sound Buddha, and Kevin C. Smith, who got to play the tambora and his ukulele bass tonight. Woohoo! Thank you so much. Thank you. We haven't played together in a long time, so I'm really happy to be back together with you all. Thank you to all of you.
Thank you, Chandra.
Oh. my favorite thing to do. And if you want to do more chanting, we have the 21 Taras Collective, which I co-founded with Nina Rao and Genevieve Walker, two amazing musicians, songwriters, kirtan artists, and we've written melodies for the 21 Tara mantras. And we just recorded in Tina Malia's studio up in Nevada City. The first 7 that we chose to do. It's not 1 through 7. We chose the ones that are most alive right now. And she's working on those, and hopefully that'll be out in the new year pretty soon. And then we'll do the rest. Yeah. So that's something also that now that the book is out, I'm going to focus more on that. 21tarascollective.org, and check all that out. And also the proceeds for tonight, my proceeds that would have come to me after we pay for the venue, go to Ani Chuying Drolma's wonderful organization called the Ani Foundation, which was founded by her to create more educational opportunities for for girls, young women, older women, as well as women who want to enter into the Buddhist path of monastic life. She is my Tara Saraswati. She's in the book. I talk about her. She's an amazing singer, devotional chantress, Chud practitioner, Tibetan nun, Ani Chuying Drolma. So thank you everybody for coming and for your donations for that. It means a lot. And you can learn more about her in the 2nd chapter. Okay, so now what we'd like to ask is if you guys don't mind helping us by taking the cushion that you're sitting on and lining them up along the wall. The back jacks should go towards the back, I think, right?
Yeah.
And I think maybe we can handle the chairs, right, you guys? Well, maybe I don't want to make people do too much work. And I know some folks want to get a book. I'm going to zip out there. I'll be sitting out there, and I'll be signing out at that table that you saw when you came in where the books are. And if you still need to buy a book, you can do that. Okay. Anything else I should tell people before we disperse? There are cookies, and I made cookies. I almost didn't put my name on them because they're good, but I hadn't made them before, so I'm like, maybe I should just say homemade cookies, not Chandra's cookies. But they are dairy-free, gluten-free, and they're sweetened with monk fruit powder. So not erythritol, just pure monk fruit. So eat as many as you want. There are oatmeal cookies with chocolate chips. And there are other cookies, tea. Please mingle, take your time, and enjoy community here together at the Alembic. Thank you, Alembic. And thank you to Ruben, the AV guy with the mostest, and to Kate for registering and volunteering tonight. Thank you, Kate, and everybody else who helped. Okay, Christine, Lara, and Isabel. I didn't give you guys enough love. I'll give you lots of love later. Okay.
Do an audio version.